Hello, I'm Scott Wilkie here with the unit, Lester Batres Jr., ahead of his upcoming fight against Pena Allamov. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Doing great. How about you?
I'm doing good. And how are you feeling ahead of this upcoming fight?
I feel great, man. All the work is put in. We're about like a week, 2 weeks out. So all the work's put in. I'm just maintaining and ready to go do my thing.
And what do you see as your strengths in this matchup?
To be honest, anywhere. I think I'm better than him anywhere. Yeah, really, wherever the fight goes, I'm confident I'll find that finish, wear him down, and yeah, I mean, this is he's a he's a tough guy to finish. I believe I don't think he's been finished, but I think I'm the guy to do it. So yeah.
And obviously, he did get announced to having a fight also on Fury 108 later. What was your reaction to that? Do you feel like that probably should have waited to see out the outcome of this fight first?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it. I was expecting it. I had already heard that that he had did that. So yeah, to be honest with you, I just feel like he's looking past
Yeah.
me as an opponent, and that's fine, bro. I don't care. Um, that's gonna be his downfall. So yeah, I might have to. I'm gonna have to put him out and then take a spot.
I mean, it's an easy solution for Fury after you have to pull out, get you back in. You've got a proven record of being active, so as long as it's injury free, I know you'll be able to step up for that challenge.
Yeah, for sure, exactly. And that's definitely enough time. Like three, I think it's like 3 weeks after. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'll be ready.
and you did have quick comebacks as well because I think between your last two bouts, it was like 3 or 4 weeks. I can't remember
Yeah.
the exact. So you have proven to Fury that you can make that quick turnaround, and that was from a loss as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've done it before, and I can do it again. And just because he's done that, just because he lined it up, it's like, all right, now I'm at the
Extra
pick the
motivation.
spot. Yeah.
And how good was it being able to get back into that win column?
Oh, it felt great, man. After that loss, I just went right back
Yeah.
into the lab and did my thing, got ready for it, and yeah, it was a great win. I definitely I think I needed it.
And remember, you were like, you just don't want to dwell on results. You just want to get it back to it. And you have kind of shown that here, being able to come back in just around about just before 3 months. Now, do you feel
Yeah.
like that's what you are wanting to keep doing? You're not wanting to dwell on this result against Pena after it. Let's get that next fight lined up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is what it is. Like right now, I love fighting for Fury, and like this is my home, but I'm trying to get to that next level. So for me, these wins, these losses, it doesn't necessarily matter to me, as long as I'm developing as an individual and staying down the path. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, don't be wrong. Like I'll celebrate or like whenever I win, I'll celebrate. I'll still make my critiques, do what I got to do, but my I'm never complacent. You know, yeah,
And do you feel like that's what kind of drives you ahead of the others? Is they may take that week out, however, you're straight back in there.
yeah. I mean, don't be wrong. I'm a believer. Like, let's say I had that 3 months off. I definitely took the time to enjoy myself and recover, get my mind off of things because that's also very important. But then there's also times where, that's not what you know what I'm saying? Like whenever the
Yeah,
opportunity presents itself for me to take that next step and just get that step closer, like I'm gonna take it, because right now is the time for me to put my head down and just work. And so that I can position myself later on to you know what I'm saying,
yeah.
to have that
Oh,
time,
yeah.
to develop.
And you kind of showing that on your Instagram. A lot of sessions are try to get those PT sessions up. You're trying to help build the next wave of contenders. How is that for you?
Um, you're saying, oh, personal trial. I got you. I got you. Yeah. I mean, I do that stuff that helps me. Just I'm building my brand, building the people around me.
Yeah,
I that's that's just like my own care for the sport, just loving martial arts. I just love being able to spread, what I know. But yeah, and then for whenever it comes to my teammates, I'm trying to level them up because it's better for them, it's better for me. Like, let's grow together. I'm not. I try not to. I try really hard not to be selfish, even though I know that there is times where I have to be. Especially in this game, you have to
Yeah.
be willing to be selfish. But whenever I can, I try to be selfless.
And then obviously it has been a big couple of months for Fury, just within the organization and without. This weekend, they are over in New Orleans. Do you feel like them branching out? I know it's mostly because the UFC has traveled there, but do you feel like them having the occasional show out with Texas helps you guys be able to help you maybe have a road show every so often?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good just because it opens up like, more competition, more
Yeah,
bodies, a little more eyes on the organization. I think it's just Fury, it's growing. And it's kind of like hop on the train or like, you're gonna get run over. So yeah, I just think that they're making their moves, being strategic and growing, man, and that's all. I'm happy for them as a promotion, and I'm glad to be a part of it as well.
and they are now showing the contenders in those UFC rankings. We were speaking before about Diego Lopez fighting for that title, and you now have Joshua Van. He's most
Yeah.
likely going to be next for that flyweight title. Do you feel like that just shows the level of competition you guys are facing in the division?
Yes, exactly. I mean, I was just actually talking to Eric about that, about how like about Josh, about Diego Lopez, about these guys, because it's like it shows like as soon as these guys are hopping out of Fury,
Yeah.
it doesn't take very much time, and these guys are on the top at the UFC. You know, so that goes to show you like where Fury is at as an organization and the bodies and the people that we have here. I mean, it's not easy. So if you're making it out of Fury, then there's a good chance you're gonna do well in the UFC. It's a good test. It's a good feeder. It's
And
not like one of these bullshit organizations that you're a champion of this organization, but then you go to the UFC and get fucking creamed.
yeah.
It's not like that for us.
And then you also have to give credit to Eric as well, because obviously,
100%.
obviously he could put a barrier to try and try and keep the talent in Fury. But if they get the opportunity, he just gives a green light immediately. There's not really been any issues surrounding that.
No, yeah, Eric is a great. I mean, he's great businessman. He does his thing, and he's not being selfish. You know what I mean? He's not trying to like hold back his fighters. Like he's trying to do everything he can for the people that are under him. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, for the guys that deserve it, he's doing what he can. The people that have proved it and have been putting in the work and the time, he's doing good. He's doing good for them. And yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, it all ties back like you see what Diego Lopez is doing, Josh Van is doing, and then you look at their history and they're fighting out of Fury. It just makes Fury a bigger. It makes them even. It gives them more hype. So yeah, he's just doing his thing, man.
And obviously, the White House is going to host a UFC event come next year.
Yeah.
Now, there's a bit of time for you to get into the UFC and get on that card. Is that something you would like to do?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. That's definitely enough time too. If it's a whole nother year, then by that time, I'm hoping I'm in a position that I can definitely be fighting on that White House ground, make some history. That's definitely. What's funny is I didn't even think about that, but yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, hell yeah, that's definitely a possibility. I would love that. That'd
I
be cool.
mean, we're going to the call it now, Ilya. You want to defend that title? We'll
Yeah,
happily accept.
hey, exactly. Somebody drops out, put me in, coach. I'm ready. Like I don't care who it is. At the end of the day, I work every day, so whatever's lined up in front of me, whatever God says is next, I'm for it. Let's go.
And like you said, you're going to stay ready. Now, Christopher Ewart, I think that's how you pronounce it. He was meant to fight on the Contender Series. He then got that chance to get the call up. However, he did come into the the weigh-ins £10 overweight. What did you make of that situation? Because obviously, if you're going to be missing weight by over 10 pounds, you kind of know that when you are taking that short notice call up. But is it just I have to just try it? This is probably the one time opportunity that I could actually get.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm not gonna lie to you. With that one, like I do get it. Like, yeah, maybe he thought that he was gonna be able to make the weight if he and just suffer, but you gotta be realistic with yourself
Yeah,
because that's a bad look. You know, that's a
yeah.
really bad look, especially missing weight by 10 pounds. And you gotta think. I mean, if you're not making the weight,
You have another
you're taking
contender.
you're taking away that opportunity from someone else as well.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's to the organization that looks bad for your brand that looks bad, and it sucks for whoever else could have had that opportunity that you decided to miss out on. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I mean, yeah. Even if it's a late notice, I'm not gonna lie. If you know you're not gonna make weight, be honest with yourself. That's what I think.
And
But
then we have called out the champion in the UFC of your division, but what did you make of his absolutely fantastic display against Oliveira?
oh, Ilya Taporia,
Yeah,
yeah, man, dude. Ever since ever since I started watching him, I've loved his style. I mean, I've been studying that guy, and every single time he fights, I make sure to watch it. That man is a superstar. That man is something different, and yeah, that there's not really much else to say. You know, Ilya is that guy, and it would be an honor to eventually, one day, because I mean, we'll see, because he's on a path that he might be retiring soon. We
yeah.
never know. But if he's still in the UFC and I'm in there, I would love to share the ring with him as an individual. Just it would be an honor. Um, but yeah, that's definitely a fighter that he's like one of my favorites right now for sure. If not my favorite, honestly, he is my favorite. I would say.
And what is the next 5 months? What have you kind of like got planned? Like how many fights are you wanting, or what's on the agenda?
To be honest with you, for me, I'm not even I'm staying in the present, you know what I mean? I'm going kind of with the flow of things right now, focusing on this fight that I have in front of me, and then from there, whatever comes, I'm just ready to receive whatever comes at me. Uh yeah, I'm not really too worried about the future right now. I got Pena Almanov to take care of first, and then from there we'll move on. I feel like in the past I had made that mistake in looking too far in the future and not focusing on where we're at right now. So I think right now I'm just focusing on where I'm at, focusing on my growth, my everyday growth, and what is important in this moment, and I'm not trying to let myself get too far ahead of myself. I'm just taking it day by day, and whatever happens happens. I just might fight another 3 times this year. We don't know, but yeah, whatever happens happens, bro.
Well,
um
I mean, you've already got this fight, and then after that, you've already got Fury 108 to look to get ready
to look
for.
forward to, exactly. Yeah, but still, even when I say that, my focus is not even on 108. My
No,
focus
no,
is on
yeah.
it's on Pina. I'm gonna take this motherfucker out first, and then from there we'll see what happens after that. Um, whether it be a late notice fucking fight in UFC, whether it be that fight on 108, whether it be a contender series shot, whatever. Um, yeah, there's multiple things that could happen depending on how this fight goes. So I'm not even my focus is on July 27th, putting this motherfucker out and putting on a show for everybody and making a statement.
And what do you feel like has been your most toughest test? Because obviously, you have got a bunch of experience in the Fury cage, but not only that, but in your amateur days, going into the IMAFs, they aren't easy either. What has been the most difficult test for you?
That's a good one. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've had quite a few adversities. Yeah, I mean each fight has its own test within it. I would say probably the hardest one would be uh I would still say the fight I had in Colombia. with against the Brazilian. Maybe it was just a circumstance. I was already 2 fights in, and that was my third fight in 3 days. I was at 10,000 feet elevation. The guy was a fucking gamer, and man, like it was a tough fight. I would say like out of like straight up having to just sheer heart pull it through. That was probably one of my hardest battles. But and then whenever I would say with Brett, that's another one. But it's more not necessarily that the fight was particularly like hard or anything like that. It was just more outside, like my preparation for that.
Yeah,
It wasn't necessarily great, and I knew that going in there, and I think that messed with me, especially in the later rounds because my cardio and stuff. But I would say that a lot of the times the hardest part is not even the fight, man. It's sometimes it's leading up to it. It's getting over those hurdles and those trials that God is sending you, in order to stay, in the right place, in the right headspace, and physically you're right. You know, I would say that yeah, bro, handling, being honest with yourself and true with yourself and being real. I would say that sometimes that's the hardest part. Yeah, but in terms of the fight, I would still say that one of the hardest fights was that one in Colombia. That was just like a like very important moment for me as an individual. Like, who am I?
yeah.
And I decided who I was. I was a gamer. You know.
And I think another thing that kind of symbolizes who you are is like you said, you didn't have the best preparation going into that Brett fight. You did have to overcome quite a lot of stuff. Like your coach, he wasn't being able to 100% dedicate everything to you. So you had to go out to other gyms. But you've never blamed that for the result. You've
No.
always just looked at it as that's what happened, but this is what happened in the fight. And I think that just shows you're not making excuses. It might be a bad prep, but you're not going to make it. That's not the excuse for the performance.
No, yeah, because to be honest with you, it's not. It's no one else's job to make sure that I'm right. It's my
Yeah,
job to make sure I'm right. And I didn't do that. I wasn't real with myself. I should have made the changes because I didn't start making changes until after that fight.
yeah,
And so I should have made those changes earlier. And that's on me. It's not on nobody else. It's just, work happens, life happens. And so maybe the routine that I had going on maybe gets thrown off, and I got to be able to make those adjustments, on the fly. Like
yeah,
I can't be going and having a fight, losing, and then having that be like, oh, now let me change things. Like that can't be. That's a big lesson for me. It's no one else's fault but myself. I should have just looked at the circumstance and recognized, okay, let me do this, let me do that, and make sure that I'm right. And I didn't do that. And so, yeah, I think just now, I've taken a different level of control over myself. And man, I still rely very heavily on my coaches. I mean, they're the biggest part of
yeah,
why I am who I am. But I need to also be able to take responsibility and recognize whenever some things are lacking, and be honest with myself. And sometimes that's the hardest part, man. It's hard to be honest with yourself sometimes because it's hard to look in that mirror. And that's in anything in life. So
yeah.
yeah, I think that was the biggest thing that I had to learn from that loss was just like being real, with what I need, and know when the right time it is to be selfish.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you've been nicknamed the unit. I don't think we've ever kind of brought that up. What kind of made you choose that as your nickname?
Man, to be honest with you, I did not choose that. I
Yeah,
had a teammate a long time ago. He just randomly one day started calling me the unit. And yeah, we don't even. He just randomly came up with it. He's just like, "Man, you're like a unit," and then he just would keep saying it over and over. And then eventually, everybody at the gym started calling me unit. And then, yeah, that's how it happened. And then now, like, that's like the perfect nickname. I feel like it couldn't have been any better. But yeah, no, I did not plan that. I didn't think about that. It was just one day my friend was joking around with me, called me it, and it stuck. And I guess that those are the best nicknames, right? The ones that Someone
Yeah.
just randomly calls you, you know. But yeah,
They've
that's
got
how that happens.
you went from hearing it from your friend to your teammates to then being in the octagon and just hearing it get announced.
Yeah, all the time, and yeah, that's just who I am now as the unit. That's my brand, and I love it. I don't regret that at all.
And is there anyone you're wanting to shout out, or anything else you're likely to add? Even a potential last message to Pena if he is watching?
Well, first things first, I love to thank my Lord Savior Jesus, God, of course, having me on this path and honestly saving my life with it. My dad, bro, being just who he is and setting me on this path and giving me the right tools to be prepared for whatever's in front of me. Yes, those are the two main ones. Other than that, all the coaches that I've gone to now, to lean on whenever I don't have like, my because my dad be busy
Yeah.
sometimes. I appreciate like, Atslan, uh 4 ounce guys, Main Street guys, everybody, my strength and conditioning coach, uh and my fans and everything. But yeah, everybody who puts time and believes in me, I appreciate every single one of you guys. No matter what. And to Pina, hey brother, you're looking past me, man, and you ain't gonna get past me. So I would focus on what you got in front of you first, player. That's all I gotta say.
And we'll see you come fight night. Make sure you guys tune
Yes,
in
sir.
to the Fury Challenger Series 14 coming up on July 27th. And you can see Leicester move up to 6-1 and be calling on Dana White's door. Thank you so much
Yes,
for coming
sir.
on.
All right, thank you, bro.